Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on, what's today's date? The 23rd of July, 2020 to talk about everything that went down this week on NXT. Last night we did the AEW review. Tonight we're doing the NXT review. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do them both together yesterday as well. I was working on a project for the channel and was only able to watch one because where I only had one screen, didn't have multiple screens. So that's why we didn't do NXT last night, but we're here to do it tonight. I was planning on being live here about an hour and a half ago, about 8 p.m. my time. But I got screwed by some guy who was going to sell me a tablet for my kids because, well, they need their own stuff when school starts back up because here in California, you ain't going back to regular school. You got to do all your schooling from home. And I've got a tablet they can use that they were sharing before, because their teachers and stuff weren't doing classes at the same time. Yet, from what we're hearing from the school district, they're going to be doing classes 5 days a week, all day, with their teachers online. So they need their own devices to be able to use. Excuse me. And, well, got to get a second one. I'm going to go get one from a guy tonight. Gave me a price. And then when I went there, he goes, "Oh, sorry, I got to charge more." I was like, wait, what? Got to charge me more? I gotta say goodbye. I'll find another dude to buy one off of or whatever. And this was a nice Lenovo tablet. I think it's the same one I already have for my son. No, I think it's one model older than the one we already have for my son. So I need this one for my daughter. He wanted to charge me just way more than he stated originally. And I said, screw you. Well, Gomez, I can do that. And that might be the route I go. But this guy was going to give me at least said initially he was going to give me a deal. He's a guy that owns a computer repair store, and he refurbishes tablets and computers and sells them, at a discounted price since they're used and refurbished. And, well, I get there, and he tells me, I got to charge more for it. Like, why? He wouldn't even give me an answer. So that's why we're here so late, because I had to go over there and then get screwed and get pissed off. And now we're here to talk about NXT. A little housekeeping. Remember, guys, you could subscribe to us, maybe, possibly, for free. So, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime. And if you have Twitch Prime, that means you can subscribe to any one channel absolutely free, no extra cost to you right here on Twitch. And I would greatly appreciate it if you gave us that Twitch Prime subscription. If you helped us out here on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited, and subscribe to us. The more people that subscribe to us, the more we can do here on Twitch, and the more that we can keep streaming here on Twitch and doing more and more live streams. Because if the live streams aren't making much money, then we're going to cut them out. We already moved them from YouTube to Twitch to see if they can make more money. Now we've got to get them going up here on Twitch now. Also, remember, you guys can also donate to us through bits. If you guys donate bits, you'll be shouted out as well during the live stream. So with that, let's talk about some NXT. So NXT opened up, and William Regal introduces the NXT and NXT North American champions, Keith Lee. Again this week, he talked about his trainer, Tim Brooks, who recently passed away. Sorry, I didn't write these notes. My buddy wrote them for me. Like I said, I didn't watch both shows yesterday. He took the notes. I then watched the show today. So I'm working off of his notes, so they're written a little differently than I'm used to. Okay, here we go. Keith Lee stated, well, I've got both of these titles. I don't need both of these titles. I'm going to vacate the North American Championship. William Regal would then announce that over the next couple of weeks, there will be triple threat matches. And the triple threat matches will qualify you for a ladder match at TakeOver 30 on August 22nd to be crowned the opportunity to be crowned the new North American champion. So tonight will be a triple threat match. Next week will be a triple threat match. Well, last night, actually, not tonight. It's written as tonight here. But anyways, we'll see. We'll see how this all goes. If it's as good as the original ladder match, if it's as good as the original ladder match, with the North American title on the line, then boy howdy, give me some, give me some, give me some. So the first match of the night saw Dexter Loomis taking on Killian Dain. They locked up before Dexter put Dain in a side headlock. Loomis slides out of the ring before Dain follows him, and Dain sends Loomis into the steps. He leaps over them, though, and rocks Dain with an uppercut before Dain hits a running crossbody. After commercial break, Dain was in control until Loomis came back with a spinebuster and hit a running clothesline in the corner before missing a swanton bomb, and Dain hit a shotgun dropkick in the corner. Dain hit a cannonball before following it up with the power bomb into an elbow drop for a 2. Dain then sent Dexter out onto the apron before Dain lifted him onto the top turnbuckle, and Dexter shoved him off before hitting another swanton. Dain right back up, though. Loomis then hits a Uranagi into a Katarogantami. I think that's what it is. It's what he wrote. For the referee stoppage and the win. Like, how the fuck you gonna do Killian Dain like that? Killian Dain gets a referee stoppage? Are you kidding me? A referee stoppage against Killian Dain? That's really making Killian Dain look weak and like a little dude. Like the last time I remember referee stoppage in NXT was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the NXT title, and I could be wrong, and there could have been another one since this. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for the NXT title, and Kevin Owens beat Sami Zayn's ass so bad that he couldn't continue, and they just gave Owens the belt. But that's two guys that are, that's one guy, Kevin Owens, a little bit bigger and more powerful than Sami Zayn. This, you're supposed to think Killian Dain is like an equal to Dexter Loomis. And I never saw Dexter Loomis as that powerful to beat down somebody as big as Killian Dain so bad that he can't continue. So I didn't like that finish. I thought it really just killed Killian Dain, who hasn't been around for a while anyways, and needed some momentum. Boy, do they fuck this man. How can you care about Killian Dain going forward? You're going to have him beat a bunch of jobbers? And then what? People are going to think, oh, he can beat the jobbers. But can he beat a guy on his level later? I don't know. I didn't like it at all. We go backstage to an interview with Roderick Strong, that is, where he says North American title being vacated is the perfect opportunity for Undisputed Era to get back to the top of NXT. Strong said that he will be the next champion, and then it was interrupted by Bronson Reed, who was then interrupted by Johnny Gargano. Reed then said that he's confident about his chances tonight before Johnny mocks them and says that he will win the North American title for the second time. We then get a Dakota Kai recap of her attacking Io Shirai. Kai mocked Shirai and told her that she'll be waiting for her return and be sure to bring that title with her as we go to commercial break. So it looks like we might be getting Dakota Kai versus Io maybe at TakeOver with the title on the line. Next up, we had a match between Everrise and Breezango. Wasn't really much to this. Bate and Matt of Everrise started off the match. Bate dropped Chase off the apron. Breeze then attacked Matt on the apron before Chase attacked him from behind, and Matt got a tag before sending Tyler into the plexiglass and tossed him back into the ring. Chase is in as the legal man. Tyler then fell backwards into a tag to Fandango, who hit a backdrop on both of Everrise and hit a dive to the outside before Breezango hit both members of Everrise with super kicks for the pin and the win. So Breezango does end up defeating Everrise on last night's show. So we go backstage to an interview with Dominik Dijakovic, talking about his match last week. Now he's got to take on Karrion Kross tonight after he was attacked by Karrion Kross. And he feels fresh going into this match tonight and says he's going to smash Kross. Dijakovic then says that he thought all this week about this and says that he's going to not cross unconscious in their match later on. Cool. We come back to a tweet by the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. She says, actions have consequences. She's speaking to Dakota Kai, that is. Next up, we get Aaliyah versus Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi lays into Aaliyah with some forearms early on, where she takes her down with a single leg, and then a drop kick into her reverse senton. A leg drop into her reverse senton. Shotzi goes through the ropes before Aaliyah comes off the apron and hits a bulldog before rolling Shotzi back inside for a 2. She then hits a Northern Light suplex for another 2. Aaliyah locks in a camel clutch before Shotzi gets to her feet and hits a running splash. Aaliyah hits several kicks before Shotzi hits a snap suplex. Aaliyah counters with a butterfly suplex and gets a real close near fall. But, well, doesn't get it. Shotzi then hits her from behind with an enziguri. Shotzi then hits a snapdragon suplex before Robert Stone tries to get involved, jumping up on the apron. Shotzi boots him off, sends him down to the floor, hits a diving senton on Aaliyah and pins her to pick up the victory. Shotzi Blackheart victorious against Aaliyah. So Shotzi drives her tank over the foot of Robert Stone, the other one this time, to match his already messed up leg. Then out of nowhere, you see Mercedes Martinez. Wait. This is written wrong. Oh, no, I think the Mercedes Martinez thing was later. This is written wrong. Sorry about that, guys. Yes, it is later. So we come back to a video package on Isaiah Swerve Scott, because you can't say his name without saying Swerve. He talks about his music career as well as his wrestling career. Wants to send a message to the Cruiserweight champion, Santos Escobar. He says that the next time they face off, he wants to take that gold. Now, we got a triple threat match last night to crown the first member, the first participant in the, in the North American title ladder match. And I was disappointed not by the match, but by who was in it. Because I want all these guys, all 3 of these fuckers to be in the ladder match. You're going to do this ladder match without Roddy? Without Gargano? Hopefully they do some last chance qualifier and we get at least one of these guys in there. But just think about it. Next week we can get Finn qualified. Bronson Reed's the big man we need. Then you would have both Roddy and Johnny. Add one person to round out the 5. I mean, even just those 4. Bronson Reed, Roderick Strong, Johnny Gargano, Finn Balor. Just think about that in a ladder match. Whoo, buddy. Unfortunately, not happening. Hopefully they got another plan for Johnny Gargano at TakeOver. Most likely they don't for Roddy, though. So, match starts off, and Reed sends both of his opponents, Gargano and Strong, to the outside. They briefly teased working together. They stomped down on Reed. Gargano pulls Strong back. Gargano then counters a powerbomb, only to get hit with a scoop slam before Johnny superkicks Strong, and Reed launched Johnny into Strong and send him out of the ring as we go to commercial. Come back from the commercial, and Reed hit a running hip attack in both corners to either guy, running back and forth. He then goes for a dive, and Strong boots him before punching Reed in the mouth in the corner. And Gargano starts punching Strong. Johnny hits a slingshot on Strong, and then sends Strong into the groin of Bronson Reed. Reed is sent outside before Gargano hits a slingshot spear to Roddy and a suicide dive to Reed before Roddy grabs Johnny while he comes back into the ring and hits him with a twisting backbreaker for a 2. Later on, Roddy hits an enziguri into an Olympic slam before Johnny sends Roddy out of the ring and covers Reed only to get a 2. Gargano traps Reed in the ropes and super kicks him before Strong comes out of nowhere with a backbreaker to Gargano and then hits Reed with running elbows before Gargano sends Roddy out of the ring. Gargano and Strong then start to kind of work together. Well, they go at it and then they start to kind of work together after Reed hits them with a suicide dive. So after the break, they go for a doomsday that Gargano ends up turning into a poison Rana to Reed before Reed drops Johnny on Roddy. Gargano then super kicks Strong to break up a pin for a near fall. Gargano powerbombs Reed onto the floor. Roddy hits a suicide dive to Johnny and tosses him back into the ring before slamming him down onto the mat for a 2. Gargano and Strong each counter each other's moves. Reed gets back into the ring. Gargano goes for a slingshot DDT, almost gets the pinfall, and Reed breaks it up, hitting a huge diving splash onto Roderick Strong for the victory. So Bronson Reed qualifies into the ladder match at TakeOver in the North American Championship. Next up, we got a rematch from, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. ONeal Lorcan versus Timothy Thatcher. Kind of liked the first match a little bit better, but this still was just as good-ish. Like, it was as good, but maybe just like that click down. You know, if you guys say which one was better, I'd say the first one. So Lorcan tried to take Thatcher down early, but Thatcher grabbed him in a front headlock. They roll around for a little while and do some grappling on the mat. Thatcher goes for a traditional armbar before Oni gets free and chops Thatcher across the chest. Thatcher hits a belly-to-belly suplex before locking in a rear chin lock and hitting some knees to Oni's midsection. He then hits him with a half Nelson suplex. Thatcher locks in a bow and arrow before turning it into a pin attempt for a 2. Lorcan then takes him down with a single leg. Thatcher goes for the double wrist lock, and Oni gets his foot on the bottom rope to break up the hold. Thatcher then chops ONeal Lorcan across the chest, and ONeal Lorcan comes back with a running uppercut that sent Thatcher out of the ring, before Thatcher dragged Oni under the bottom rope outside with him. Thatcher then goes for another double wrist lock, before Lorcan sends him into the post as we go to commercial. Come back as Thatcher is in control. They're back in the ring. He's beating on ONeal Lorcan and goes for a half Nelson, but Lorcan hits a diving uppercut to basically counter it. Lorcan then takes Thatcher down and goes for a double wrist lock before they get back to their feet. And Thatcher hits Oni with an open hand palm strike, slaps, and forearms. ONeal Lorcan takes down Thatcher again with a single leg and locks in a single-legged Boston Crab, but ONeal Lorcan somehow countered it into a Fujiwara armbar. He then also locked in the fish hooks, but ONeal Lorcan broke free and chopped Thatcher across the chest yet again. Lorcan then hit a half-and-half suplex for a near fall and goes for a standing double wrist lock before Thatcher sweeps Oni and covers him with the hold still locked in. Goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Timothy Thatcher does defeat ONeal Lorcan. Unfortunately, Timothy Thatcher going to get beat next week, I think. As we do know, I'm going to fast forward here a little bit. It was announced that a triple threat match to determine the second competitor in the ladder match at TakeOver will be Finn Balor, Dexter Loomis, and Timothy Thatcher. I expect Finn Balor to win that. I mean, Timothy Thatcher would be cool to see in the ladder match. I expect Finn to win it, though. And so, who gets that loss? Who gets pinned by Finn if Finn wins? Dexter Loomis has been just on a roll. I don't know if they want to beat him. Timothy Thatcher's another guy they've been really, really pushing. So I'm really interested to see who gets beat next week by Finn. Or am I completely out to lunch and Finn Balor's going to take the pin? And Finn is not going to be in the ladder match. Because then that would just be the dumbest thing they've ever done, not putting Finn Balor in this match. I mean, they've already fucked it up by not putting Johnny Gargano in this match. But I digress. Get a brief interview with Robert Stone backstage before Mercedes Martinez cuts him off. Martinez says she wants to do a lot in the ring, but has no time negotiating matches and needs somebody to do that for her. She just wants to be the one to go out there and kick some ass and have somebody else set everything else up. And so, she basically seemingly joins the Robert Stone brand with the handshake agreement, and she leaves as Robert Stone and Aaliyah celebrate their newest acquisition. As we go on, we've got our main event. It was Karrion Kross against Dominik Dijakovic. They go toe-to-toe before locking up and breaking after a stalemate that sends them all over the ring. Dominik Dijakovic then backs Kross into the corner for a clean break. Kross kicks Dijakovic in the midsection and locks in a front headlock before Dijakovic drives him into the corner. This breaks free of the headlock. He tried to break free, but Kross wouldn't break the hold. Dijakovic finally gets out and goes for the feast your eyes before Kross counters it, and Dijakovic counters a Saito suplex attempt for sending Kross through the ropes to the outside. They both are on the outside throwing punches, and Dijakovic drops him with a running boot, drops Kross that is, with a running boot. They get back in the ring, and Kross catches Dijakovic with a boot before hitting with a snap DDT as we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Kross is in control. Dijakovic is thrown shoulder first into the post. Kross hits a Saito suplex. Kross then goes for his cross jacket, but, well, Dijakovic tosses him off. Kross then counters a feast your eyes before Dijakovic hits a choke bomb. Kross rolls out of the ring, and Dijakovic hits a tope before Kross sends Dijakovic into the steps and chokes him against them before kicking them and basically kicking him headfirst into the steps. Kross then lifts Dijakovic and rolls him back into the ring before hitting him with forearms in the mount as the NXT champion Keith Lee comes down to ringside. Keith then tries to get Dijakovic to stop the match. He refuses. Basically, they try to do another referee. Well, they don't try to do another referee stoppage. We get another goddamn referee stoppage. 2 on one night. I didn't like this because it made Dijakovic also look bad. I get it. Karrion Kross is supposed to be on another level. Basically, Karrion Kross beats him down so bad that he puts him in the cross jacket, chokes him out. Dijakovic goes unconscious. He can't really say, oh, I tap, or, oh, I give up, or he can't just tap. So the referee has to call the match. Referee stoppage again. 2 in one night. I didn't really like that. Keith Lee immediately jumps into the ring to check on Dijakovic before he stares down Kross and Scarlett as they go off the air. Again, I didn't like the 2 referee stoppages. I guess this one wasn't as bad because it was, you got choked out. You were getting your ass beat and you got choked out. That's not as bad as Killian Dain. This guy that was built up for a while, especially when he was fighting Matt Riddle, as this just big, bad Scottish monster. And then you have Dexter Loomis, who nobody really cares about. Beat his ass so bad that he gets knocked down and can't continue. That one wasn't as bad as this one. And this one, I guess I'm complaining for no reason. Because this one wasn't that bad. This one wasn't that bad. This one's one that you see often. The whole, you're in the submission, you don't want to tap, so you pass out. But that was NXT. That was tonight's NXT. Or last night's NXT. I thought the show was fun. I thought Dynamite was better, though. If I had to rate this, I'd probably go 7. Which means I really liked AEW a lot better because I gave AEW last night an 8. And also, a lot of fans liked AEW better last night, too, because AEW destroyed NXT in the ratings. I've got the breakdown of those ratings right here. So last night, AEW drew. Okay, let me rephrase that. Last night, AEW drew 845,000 viewers. That is up 7% from last week's show. Last week's Dynamite, the Fight for the Fallen edition, did 788,000 viewers. So they gained 57,000 viewers this week. NXT went the other way. NXT only did 615,000 viewers this week, dropped 3% from last week's 631, and lost roughly 16,000 viewers. So, I don't know. Dynamite's got 2 title matches next week. They've got a 10-man tag that people are interested in. So I see Dynamite possibly winning again. Hopefully it's not by such a wide margin. I think, let me do the math here. NXT lost by 230? Yeah, NXT lost by 230 fans. I don't remember. I know there's been a gap that wide before, I believe. But I don't remember the last time the gap was that wide on a Wednesday night. But with that, that was NXT. See if we have any text messages. If you want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. I do have 2 text messages here. Person says, I enjoyed NXT last night. Did you? And did you enjoy tonight's race? Yes and yes. Well, to an extent. Because, well, my driver got knocked out with no doing of his own. And this person says, who do you think will actually end up winning the North American Championship ladder match? That's too hard to say right now with only knowing one guy locked into it. If I had to choose who I wanted to win the title, like if I was just like, out of everybody in NXT, who do I think should win the North American title? I'd go Finn Balor. I would almost say Johnny Gargano, but we now know he's not in the match. So I would go Finn winning the North American title. That would be my pick. Hopefully he doesn't make it into the match. So with that, guys, that was tonight's NXT review from last night's show. I do want to thank everybody who has supported us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Remember to follow us on YouTube. Remember to follow us on Twitch as well. Or on Twitter as well. Just search for PWUnlimited. I just had a big old brain fart. Find us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/PWUnlimited. You can also follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Jay Penix says, when will you and Tim, I think you mean Nick, do some gaming on Twitch? And I got a question for you guys on that. So, you guys are supporting us here on Twitch. Do you guys want to see strictly only wrestling stuff here on Twitch? Like we do on YouTube? YouTube's strictly wrestling for the most part. Or would you guys like to see us change it up sometimes and do some non-wrestling stuff here on Twitch? Maybe play some non-wrestling video games or talk about non-wrestling stuff like we do sometimes on the Hangout stream. I want to know your guys' thoughts on that, what you guys would like to see us do here on Twitch, as we can do more and more and more as we keep going forward. But with that, guys, thank you for watching tonight's NXT review. We'll be back late. I'll be back tomorrow night for the SmackDown review, and then we'll start it back all over again on Monday with Monday Night Raw. So have a good night, guys, and we'll see you later.